Hi everybody, welcome back to the Little Red House. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed time with your family or friends or whatever you did, and I hope you got some good food. I'm using some leftovers today from Thanksgiving, and I wanted to show you how to make cheesy scalloped potatoes. And I'm using some ham that my sister unknowingly donated to me. It's from Honey Baked Ham. It's delicious. So I cut up 4 slices. I shredded a block of extra sharp cheddar cheese and some Parmesan, and of course my little red potatoes. Just a little tidbit. If you have organic potatoes, of course wash them, but you don't have to peel them. If you do not have organic potatoes, always wash them and then peel them. Because if you think of all the things that go into our soil, that's what's sitting on the skin of your potato. Even though I like the skins, and I think that's where the vitamins are especially, you know, you're eating all the chemicals along with that. So anyway, I'm melting some butter. I'm going to teach you how to make a roux. And I don't have one of those little tripod thingamajigs, so I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So I melted, that is probably a half a stick of butter. And I always use my handy dandy fork. I don't need a big spoon or anything. So I'm going to add my flour. We add things just a little at a time. That's how I get my roux going. Watch it bubble up really good. The fork helps you get all the lumps out of this. Okay. Turn my heat down a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. I'm going to build it back up here. I tend to think, and I've learned, that the more flour that you can incorporate in this, is the thicker your sauce will be. And you'll have a nice, good, thick roux. Bubbling here, we can add a little bit more flour. Hopefully it wasn't too much. Just keep using your fork. Like such. And then cook back down. This is real TV, and I use a little bit too much flour, so I'm going to add a little bit more butter, if I can get it in here. A little bit. You don't want to add too much. And we just cook that into that. I use my fork. I always mash it down. Oh heck, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of that butter in there just to... Okay. Here I'm going to slowly add milk. I've started with just about 2 cups. Like that. I apologize if we're bouncing all over the place here, but I just work with what I got. You can see how that's thickening up. That's how you know you've got you got a good base. You got a lot of flour in there. Okay. Some more, and we just keep working this. All right. So what we're going to keep doing right now. So I did get to see my sister for Thanksgiving. It's a nice surprise. I did get to go there. I did get to see one of my 2 grandsons yesterday, and that was a treat. The other one, bless his little heart, he was sick, and you know, you feel bad because you know he wanted to come too and he couldn't. But we did get to FaceTime. I don't know how people survived without FaceTime. I'm not somebody who really is into technology too much, but that is one thing that I'm grateful for, is that YouTube and FaceTime. So it started to finally thicken up. You see how we're doing that? We're just building. Turn the heat back up just a smidge. And get it to boil again. Here we go. If you want yours a little thinner, you don't have to start with such a thick base of flour. There we go. So that's been 2 cups of milk. Again, if you don't want yours as thick, you can not put so much flour in. I like potato soup. I don't like runny potato soup. I like thick potato soup. It's me though. So I'm actually going to try to thin mine out just a smidge. Add a little bit more milk. I know this is kind of crazy. You're bouncing all over the place with me trying to hold this, but it's very important because this is the base of your stout potatoes. I know you can buy stout potatoes in a box anymore. Well, you just add water, I think some butter and milk, but they're just not the same. They're just not. So I try to use my fork to get out all the lumps. By the way, this is also how you make gravy. So you would just take, instead of milk, you would just take the drippings from your, and grease and drippings from whatever, like if you're frying pork chops, and you just do the same process with the flour. You just keep building the base. It's thinning out really nicely. I say I'm up to 2.5 cups of milk. Again, it's personal preference, how thin or thick. And one more thing, this is how you make homemade mac and cheese. This is your roux, this is the base. And from here, of course you'll want it thinner. Not too much thinner though. From here, once you get it to your desired thickness, you would add your different cheeses. And then you add, you always add a little bit of smoked paprika. You can add a little garlic, whatever you want in your mac and cheese. And then you add the noodles, mix it all together and bake it. So, there. We've come up with an extremely nice roux for our potatoes. This is the consistency of it. I keep mashing out my little lumps here. I don't think there's a real gravy out there that does not have some lump of some sort, but here's an overall picture of it. From here, I turn my heat down. I am going to add my cheese. Again, shred your own cheese. Every single block of cheese, every single bag of shredded cheese, no matter what the brand is, it doesn't matter if it's the most expensive cheese in the world. When they shred it, they put a chemical on it so it does not stick together. And you don't want that. Just get yourself a grater and, you know, make it yourself. I know it's a pain to do that, but not really. If you get a good box grater, it's not bad. All right, so here is what it's looking at. You can see the cheese melting. Again, if you want your base thicker or thinner, add your desired amount of milk. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of milk. Mix that, and then I'm going to start adding in my potatoes and the ham. And once I do that, I mix it all together really good. And I bake it because I like that crispy topping. Look at that, that's coming together really nice. It all mixed together. Not doing too bad with one hand. All right. So we have got our ham. Let's start with maybe half of this cup. Today I'm using little red potatoes. Slice those. And of course, salt and pepper. Remember, cheese has a lot of salt in it, and if you can't have a lot of salt, don't add a lot of salt. And don't feel like you need to, because, you know, the cheese will blend into the potatoes, and so it'll all be tasty. But being that I'm one-handed right now, I can't mix this up too much, but I will. But anyway, this is the gist of it. I'm going to further mix this so it's all coated. I'm going to put it in a pan to bake for 350 degrees for about, half hour, 45 minutes, depends on your oven. Also, if you, this pan is a brazier pan from All-Clad. It's a D5, so it's very well insulated. And I could cook these on the stovetop and get these potatoes done just as quickly with a covered lid. So I think tonight I'm going to do that just because we're hungry and it's late, and might have them done just a little bit quicker, but might look a little messy right now, but that's just the gist of how you do it. You can always add, you know, anything you want to scallop potatoes, like, you know, bacon bits or chives, or that sounds good. I'm going to add some of that, and then parsley. But I just wanted to kind of show you how you get it going. Just remember, again, this is how you could make your homemade mac and cheese. And if you want to make homemade gravy, just use the grease drippings instead of butter. And I hope that you've learned something from this, but I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a very good rest of your weekend. Thanks so much.